Hi everyone, it's Angela from Cloudfetti, and today I'm sharing how to make a little koala in a tree out of polymer clay. So to start out, I'm rolling a large ball of some brown clay into a really thick log. Then to make a little branch, I've made a smaller log of the same brown color, and I'm going to cut one end off diagonally with a blade. And then now I'm placing the larger log vertically, and I'm placing the end of the smaller one onto the side of it. And then blending everything together with the needle tool. Next, to give it some texture and make it look more like real tree bark, I'm dragging the needle tool across the surface lengthways and making lots of lines in different sizes. And then using a small dotting tool to go over the lines and make them a little bit wider. Next, to make the top and bottom of the tree, I've rolled out 3 little balls of tan clay, and 2 are larger and 1 is smaller, so they're about the same size as each of the tree ends. And I'm just going to squish each of them into a pancake with my finger. And then place them onto each of the end of the tree, just pushing the clay to the edge. Then to make the ring lines in the ends, I'm scratching some kind of like round lines into the clay with my needle tool, just following the circular shape. And then to make a little leaf for the tree, I'm squishing a tiny ball of some bright green clay into another pancake and drawing a line down the center with the needle tool. And then pinching the 2 ends into a long diamond shape. And now to secure the leaf onto the tree, I have some wire that I cut from an eye pin. And I'm going to cut it even shorter, just with some pliers. And then push it into the end of the leaf with a little bit poking out. And then dab on a little bit of liquid clay. And then just inserting the rest of the wire into the little tree branch. So now the tree is finished, I'm going to set that aside and move on to the koala. So for that, I've rolled out 2 large balls of grey clay, and one is slightly smaller than the other. And I'm taking the smaller ball and rolling one end thicker than the other into a teardrop shape. And then I'm cutting off the pointy bit with a blade. And attaching the flat end of the teardrop shape onto the larger grey ball. And blending the 2 pieces together. So now for the ears, I've rolled out 2 small balls of grey, and I'm also flattening those a little tiny bit with my finger into, you guessed it, some pancakes. I've also made some smaller white ones, and I'm pressing those on top. Then to make the little ruffles in the ears, I'm pressing little indents onto the side of the grey parts with the side of my needle tool. And once they sort of look like little animal paws, I'm going to cut off the very bottom of them so that they're flat. And then attaching them onto the koala's head and blending them in. Next, it's time to make the face, so I'm poking some eye holes with a dotting tool. And next, to make the nose, I've got a small ball of some black clay, and I'm flattening it down a little tiny bit and pinching one end to a point so that it looks sort of like a little watermelon seed. I also rolled out a couple of little balls of black, and I'm just going to place these onto the face. And also a little tiny U shape for the smile. and a couple of tiny pink balls for the cheeks. Next, for the arms and legs, I have 4 little balls of grey clay, and I'm going to roll these into teardrop shapes. And then just attaching them onto the koala that I've already gone ahead and placed onto the tree. Just placing 2 teardrops onto each side of the koala so that it looks like he's hugging the tree. To finish it off, I'm adding on a little ball of some white clay for the tail. And finally, I'm going to make a little heart. So I have a small ball of some dark pink clay, and I'm going to flatten it down slightly into yet another pancake, just with the tip of my finger. Then using a needle tool, I'm pressing a little indent into one end, and shaping the 2 sides with a blending tool so that they're more rounded. Then I'm going to cut the pancake into sort of like a pizza slice, just cutting the sides off diagonally and reshaping so it's all rounded. So now once everything is nice and smooth, I'm going to place it towards the bottom of the tree stump. And then finally, to make it into a charm, I'm inserting an eye pin, and I'm baking it using my package's instructions. And once everything has cooled down, I'm securing the eye pin with some super glue. And that's all for this tutorial. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!